What is up, my friends? The good news is your weekend has officially started and you are very welcome along to Friday evening's Anfield Agenda News Roundup. I'll be back here tonight at 8:45 to take you through the late night agenda, these and more stories in greater detail. Until now, we're going to talk about a very interesting statistic that shows that Liverpool really are in a bit of a defensive crisis. We're going to give you two potential avenues for Mohamed Salah away from Liverpool Football Club. We'll talk about Antoine Semenyo and how there could be good news on the horizon there, and a couple of interesting bits and pieces that I hope should keep you right up to date with where we are news-wise for Liverpool Football Club. Now, Connor was on this morning and he took you through a lot of what Arne Slot said in his press conference, so thank you to Mr. Crosby for that one. For now, as I mentioned, I'm going to go through the news, but beforehand, just a quick reminder, tomorrow the Reds travel to Ellen Road to take on Leeds in a 5:30 kickoff. Our coverage here is going to start from 4:15 p.m. We'll have our watch-along, our match reaction, our player ratings video, and we'll have a news video out late on Saturday night as well. Until then, though, my friends, let's get cracking with the news. So, Dougie Critchley of Sky has put up a very interesting set of numbers that I just want to talk you through and explain why it is so strange. So, the stat is the player to complete the most clearances in Europe's top 5 leagues and where their team finished. So 24-25, it was Ismaili of Empoli, and their team finished 18th. 23-24, it was Anderson of Crystal Palace. They finished 10th. In 22-23, it was Ethan Pinnock of Brentford, who finished 9th. 21-22, it was Cabrera of Espanyol, and they finished 14th in La Liga. 2021, it was Tosin of Fulham, who finished 18th. 19-20, James Tarkowski of Burnley, they finished 10th. 18-19 and 17-18 were both Duffy from Brighton, and they finished 17th and 15th. The reason why this is important is this season, the person with the most clearances in Europe's top 5 leagues is your captain, Virgil van Dijk. That is not normal, is the headline on this. And it isn't normal. That shows you how much defending and how porous we are this season. That a team that is supposed to be aiming for the high honours, and our captain is doing the most clearances. That shows you how much defending we're doing and how unusual it is. Now, Peter O'Rourke has said this, and it's some good news for Liverpool fans regarding Antoine Semenyo. Pete writes that despite interest from Manchester City and Arsenal, Liverpool remain the current favourites to sign Antoine Semenyo. Now, there is no talk about whether this is a January transfer or a summer one, but look, I genuinely think we're the best fit. Arsenal would also be a very good fit for what it's worth, but I do think both Arsenal and Manchester City may have to move a player on to make space there for Semenyo. We know that we have a gap at the minute. You can talk about wide left or wide right, and there is space there to bring in somebody like Antoine Semenyo. So, fingers crossed, this all plays out how we'd want it to, and that Semenyo does indeed become a Liverpool player. We know there's a £65 million release clause in January, 60 million guaranteed, 5 million in add-ons, and we believe that goes down to just above 50 million in the summer. Now, I promise you a couple of avenues potentially for Mohamed Salah away from Liverpool. Now, I'm not wishing him away, but for the first time, and of course I would love to know your thoughts on this, for the first time I do think it is potentially realistic that if a big offer came on the table, that Liverpool may actually listen to it. Of course, a lot would depend on what Mo wants to do, and he's absolutely earned the right to make that decision. But the first one we're going to talk about is from Fakahis, and they say, Turkish giants Galatasaray plan to elbow themselves into the race to sign Mohamed Salah, and they hope to tempt the Egyptian with a contract offer worth somewhere between 15 and 16.5 million pound per season. It's a lot of dough, right? But it's a lot less dough than he's making at Liverpool, where he makes about 20 million pound per season. Still though, let me know your thoughts on this one. I didn't think Galatasaray would have the ability to pay that kind of money for a player. No talk of a potential transfer fee in this, by the way, just the numbers that Mohamed Salah could expect to receive. So, most chances created in the Premier League this season, and thanks to StatMuse FC for this one. So, the most chances created, number 1 on the list, Manchester United's Bruno Fernandes, who has created 33 chances. Second, Jeremy Doku of Manchester City with 31 chances. And third is Mohamed Salah of Liverpool with 27 chances. Now, there was a couple of other interesting stats that caught my eye. Most passes in the Premier League this season, Virgil van Dijk. Most touches in the Premier League this season, Virgil van Dijk. Again, the passing thing is to be expected. We do play the ball from the back a lot, and centre-backs are seeing a lot of the football these days. But it also shows you how much defending we're having to do this season if you couple all of that with the numbers we spoke about at the very start of this video. So, this coming out of, I believe, France, said that Ibrahima Konate has absolutely nothing going on in regard to a potential transfer to Paris Saint-Germain. So we can now rule out PSG as an avenue for Konate. We can rule out Real Madrid as an avenue for Konate. And I think we could potentially rule out Bayern Munich because it looks like Dayo Upamecano may stay at Bayern Munich. So if Konate is still dwindling and dawdling over his Liverpool contract, I don't know where dude thinks he's going to go. Where else is he going to go where he's going to have the ability to win trophies like he does at Liverpool, playing in a team that is full of stars, place there he should be settled in. So again, I would urge Konate, sign that contract, because for me and many other Liverpool fans, knowing that he wanted to go to Real Madrid, that's not sat well with us. Just my take on it, but again, I'd be interested to know your thoughts, where you think Ibu could end up if indeed he doesn't stay at Liverpool. So, Saudi, let's talk there on Mohamed Salah for a moment, because the Saudi Pro League are ready to back a blockbuster move for Mohamed Salah if the Liverpool star decides to push for an exit after losing his starting spot under Arne Slot. The Egyptian has been benched for the last 2 games, with Virgil van Dijk warning that no player has unlimited credit at Anfield. Salah, on interest from Saudi in the past, said, "My relations with officials are very good. Negotiations were serious. If I hadn't renewed with Liverpool, it would have happened." Now, I was watching this on Sky last night as well, and I don't know if there's something going on behind the scenes that we're not aware of, but there seems to be a lot of conversation now about the possibility of Mohamed Salah making that move to the Saudi Pro League. This story sourced from The Telegraph, so a reputable newspaper. Now, what I would say is, here's what I expect to happen. When Mohamed Salah goes off to the AFCON, I think the stories are going to increase. I think you're going to see more talk about Saudi. It's not an accident that when players go away from their clubs, these things tend to happen. We spoke about it during international breaks previously. Not just Salah, but other players. I'm not saying they get a bit braver when they're not around the club, but the agents and the stories tend to come out a little bit more. So I'm going to make a prediction that during Mo's time at the AFCON, we're going to deal with a lot of stories around Mohamed Salah and his future, and how he's unhappy with being benched at Liverpool, and all of these other things that, let's be honest, we've seen before. We've seen a lot of this stuff before. And like I've said, when you're banging them in, when you're the talisman, you get away with a lot of stuff. You get away with it. But when you're not, the things that used to be okay suddenly become a little bit more precarious. So for me, I'm starting to think, will Mohamed Salah leave Liverpool? Now, I've said many times, when he and Virgil van Dijk signed their new deals, personally, I fully expected them to see out those 2 years, because I didn't expect this much of a drop-off. And no, I'm not trying to blame all of Liverpool's faults this season on Mohamed Salah. But again, you are the talisman. You are the highest paid. That comes with a responsibility. And he's not meeting those responsibilities at the minute. Quite frankly, neither is Virgil. Neither are most of the players. Szoboszlai probably one of the only ones that has a bit of credit at the minute. But let me know your thoughts on this, folks, because what would it take? What do you think it would take numerically for Liverpool to maybe be interested? £100 million. We asked this question on a stream last week, and I think it was well over 80% that said if an offer of £100 million came in for Mohamed Salah, we should take it. Now, you guys who've watched this channel for a long time know that when Saudi came in with that previous offer of £150 million a year and a half ago or a year ago, I said don't take it. Absolutely no way. Now, I'm saying take the money. If an offer comes in, and importantly, I got to caveat it by saying this, Mohamed Salah, of course, would have to want to move. If an offer came in now, anywhere north of £100 million, I think Liverpool would certainly have to look at it and give it some serious consideration, because that could be reinvested. And most importantly, think of the wages as well that could be freed up. It's a very difficult and tough conversation to have. But are we seeing £20 million a year value right now for Mohamed Salah? It's not about what he did in the past. His legacy is set in stone. What he has done at this football club is tremendous. But what I don't want to happen, and I'm sure whatever side of this debate you're on, you'll agree with me, nobody wants this to get toxic. If Mohamed Salah is to leave Liverpool, it should be done in the right way. with class, with respect, with dignity, and he should be given the farewell and the send-off that he absolutely deserves, fitting of the king that he is. So that is my take, ladies and gentlemen, for now. But of course, I do want to know your thoughts. Let me know in the comment section. Drop a like if you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you do. And I hope to see you tonight at 8:45 for the late night agenda. Remember, massive game tomorrow. Leeds away. Got to get back to winning ways. If we don't, the manager could be in serious trouble. We'll talk to you later on. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.